described rushing to improve this. For example, what are the guidelines for classroom materials, videos, and assignments, materials children will see? We haven't seen any of those things, and parents have asked for those access to those materials for transparency. I looked up a quick resource that was found on the Citizens Advisory Committee for Kiel School. The book series is called Pinky and Rex for first and second graders. It's described as an offbeat set of books about a girl named Rex and a boy named Pinky. In one particular book in the series, Pinky learns the importance of identity as he defends his favorite color, pink. It is categorized as an LGBTQ book for gender and sexuality, gender nonconformity, gender roles, and supportive for transgender. We were specifically told by Diane and Yvonne that other than the idea, as Dr. Rishka referred to, that girls can be doctors and boys can be nurses, that Kinnelon would not be teaching gender identity and expression, and most would agree that all of us parents teach our children to reach for the stars and that anything that they want to achieve is achievable. So the state or the district to imply that parents aren't qualified to discuss and answer questions that their 6 and 7-year-olds have around these topics is an overreach by so-called school experts, in my opinion. I haven't had time to read the books or to look into the other sources, which is my main point of my conversation, but they seem to be delivering more than was promised. They appear to be introducing ideologies to 6 and 7-year-olds. So I would just ask you as elected officials to consider the known and unknown ramifications of approving this curriculum tonight without diligent review. Many towns have outright rejected the curriculum based on several grounds. And as I've said in the past several times, you're the gatekeepers, and also compliance is not a virtue. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kim Zerkowitz, 11 Hillside Road, parent. I got home from work last night late. I barely got the email. I didn't open anything. I am concerned and worried. I agree with Jennifer and with Dana. This is not enough time for us parents to look through all this. There's a lack of transparency when you do this rushing. I would be extremely concerned if this gets passed without further. I haven't even had a chance to open it all day today. So I don't know. I think that if we're going to be letting our children learn some things that we don't really agree with, and to be able to understand the opt-out forms, we really need a longer period of time to look through this. So I hope that you don't pass it, because it would be very disappointing and lack of transparency. And I agree with, and I don't know, I could never do what you're doing, because I can't, but I just feel like there's a lot of responsibility here, and we're relying on you guys to make the right decision for a big community. So I hope you understand that, and I hope you can do the right thing.
I am Janet Filippo. I've lived here in Kinnelon paying school taxes for 46 years and raised 2 God-fearing children. Comment: the attendance tonight is extremely poor. Top religion in Kinnelon is Catholic. Top age group is 45 to 64, making up 31.3%. 65 plus 16.6%. I represent approximately 47.9% of this population. I have grandchildren in town, and everyone here has a stake in your decisions. I was never made to feel uncomfortable or red-faced learning in school. The state's standards are disgraceful. The opt-out is unprecedented. When in the history of this country has this happened? What does that tell us?
here in town. I've had the privilege of serving on the Citizens Advisory Committee for the past month, and I want to share with you, the community, some of the things we've done and address some of the concerns that you may have and how we've addressed that with administration and also with the representatives of the board. So I chose to participate in the Citizens Advisory Committee because I wanted to have a voice in the process, and I wanted to make sure that parents and other members in the community are heard, because I think, you know, the board and the administration rightly asked for that. They didn't have to. Certainly other communities have not convened citizens advisory committees and just acted on their own, doing what they thought was best. So they did take the step in Kinnelon to put this committee together to try to get that input. You know, no one's thrilled with the standards. You know, some folks don't think it's the place of the schools to be involved in this at all. Others, you know, feel that some of the standards are too descriptive, specific, or graphic, and they take issue with specific standards. Others feel that the timing is just really terrible on the tail end of COVID, and a combination of all those factors. Nobody's thrilled with it, neither the administration, the board, the parents, but putting that all aside, we have to, as a community, act on this and do something, because the consequences of not acting would also bear negatively on this community. So the committee, you know, really took that step and looking at the standards, and the state clearly, you know, has orchestrated this in some way, and there is something that they're trying to accomplish here, and we don't all support what the state is trying to accomplish. You know, we have some standards that are just very general, feel-good kind of standards. We agree to accept each other, that type of stuff, and then others that are very descriptive, specific, and some would even say graphic. And, you know, they cause us all to take pause and say, how could we as a community address this in such a way that doesn't leave a child red-faced or embarrassed, and really tries to take into account the ages and the development of those students. Many of us on the committee felt that the best way to do that is by giving factual information, scientific information with no editorializing. The health teachers, the school nurses are quite experienced in that, where they're doing that already. We also talked about the importance of perhaps scripting certain aspects of the curriculum also. So those are, you know, things that are still in the works and being discussed. So none of these issues sort of went, you know, were brushed under the table. All the options were put on the table to best understand how this could be done in a way that would, you know, not embarrass the students, be comfortable for the staff, and something that parents would find was based in science and facts. We also spend a lot of time discussing the opt-out and the opt-out process. As you can see, there's been a lot of work on the forms already. There's going to be more work. It was very important that the opt-out be publicized, put out to the community. You know, opt-out is guaranteed by statute in New Jersey for many subjects, but most people don't know it exists. So that we're trying to put this out to the community, put it out early, people can see it, people can use the links and best understand what those options are.
Mr. Orlando, you're over 3 minutes.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you for your time. Just to reinforce, we're focused on transparency and parental choice. If anybody has specific questions, I'm happy to give you my contact information. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Orlando.
I live in town on Ridge Road, Maria Chomick. So I'm very sorry, I did not prepare anything. I'm just going based on what I'm feeling right now. I'm going to speak to you as a parent. Nothing in this curriculum respects my values. Nothing. It is not either the district or the government's place to tell me what my children are ready or not ready to hear and learn when it comes to their sexuality. When it comes to school for academics, I re-enrolled my son this year because he begged me to put him back in school so he can be with his friends, because I homeschooled him for 2 years. So I didn't want him exposed to what was going on with COVID. 3 days after he started school, he borrowed a book from the library for a language arts assignment. And the reason why I am pointing this out is because this goes much further than a curriculum of trying to shove down everyone's throat, okay? This book is an adult novel. My child is 14. I'm going to read you a small paragraph because there are children here, and I have more respect than obviously the district does based on what this book is about, okay? It's written for adults. It talks about adult topics. She felt something brush the small of her neck, and the next second her face was jammed up against the mirror. Something shoved her hips against the porcelain ledge of the sink. She felt cold fingers tugging on the waistband of her shorts. I won't read any more of that. That is a rape scene. My son is 14 years old. He should not have access to this. I am infuriated. And luckily, his language arts teacher sent a form home for me to sign so that I would acknowledge that she is not responsible for the content of whatever book any of the children take out of the library. And that raised an eyebrow. I said to he, luckily did not read this. I took the book from him, I did a quick Google search. This is an adult novel written to be read by adults, not children. So here's the thing, I understand the funding is an issue because we'll lose $2 million government funding. How about we peruse the libraries, take this nonsense out of there, and sell them? And maybe we'll make some of that. And that's all I
Dana Fiorito, East Drive. Sorry. I didn't prepare anything either, I have to tell you. I was very taken back that this curriculum was put on so shortly, and I think it's an injustice that the board would even think about passing such an imperative thing for our kids in this community in such a small amount of time. I've been running around with my kids to football practice, preschool, doing the mom and dad things that we do here, and I have barely touched on. I was able to, in 5-second increments, look at this curriculum today. So I urge you not to vote on this at all. We as a community are owed. We are taxpayers. And there are many people sitting here today, excuse me, and before I've been here, that have given so much to this community, their time, their effort, their money, out of the generosity of their hearts, and the most that this board can do, the least they can do, excuse me, is give us the transparency to see what this really is all about. And we're owed that, and that's what we're promised. And this is not going away, and we're not shoving this under the rug. This is an important thing for our children. Now, the only things I will point out very quickly is when I looked in the K through 2 section, there was verbiage in here that my child is going to, in second grade, be able to explain what reproduction is. There's verbiage in here that talks about doing self-identity portraits with multicultural crayons. I don't know what any of this means. It is very nice that you posted these page-for-page bullet points for each grade, but what is not posted is what are the materials that are going to be used, what are the pictures, what are the books, what are the forms, what are the worksheets, what does what I just said to you mean for my child? What are multicultural crayons? Why does a 7, 8, 9-year-old need to verbalize to you, a teacher, who has no authority over my child in the home for those values that I teach my child and that go against my religion as a Catholic, why do they need to repeat that back to anybody? So those things are just an example, a big example of what I was able to see today very quickly. And a case in point of we don't understand what any of that means, but it's nothing good, I can tell you that. We are owed the curriculum, word by word, we are owed pictures. I also am concerned, where is this agenda, is this material going to be seeded through other subject areas in the curriculum? Is it going to be etched into social studies like it did last year with that whole awful thing that happened with the video that leaked out in the social studies class? Where are these hidden agendas?